Hello and welcome to another episode of the Road to Glory Master Ball rank. As you can see, we've had 10 battles. We've had 3 wins and 7 losses, so it's not looking good for us. But we do indeed have a new team because we are now in the Pokeball rank. We upgraded to the Pokeball rank from the beginner tier, so we are doing somewhat okay. So on your screen, you can see that we have Bob, the Knuckle Stack. We have Smaug, the Roaring Moon. We have Perty, the Flutter main. We have the Annihilate. We have Chester. I'm going to remember it, King Gambit. And we have Shempao, the Shempao. We didn't give Shempao a nickname. I don't know why. But we do decide to lead with Perty, the Flutter main. Second up is the Shempao. And last but not least is the Roaring Moon. Our opponent has a Glimmora, a Dragapult, an Iron Hands, a Salamence, a Toxtricity. I always struggle with that name. And a Gyarados. But without further ado, let's hop right into the very first battle of this episode. I believe this is episode 8. So please, if you are enjoying this series, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure there's a card on the screen telling you to do just that. But David XXX has sent out his Salamence to start as we send out our Flutter main, which is a very good start, unless this Salamence gets Iron Head, which I'm not too sure if it does. Then we are pretty much in the clear. Now, we do decide not to Terastallize just yet, because we don't know what else this guy has on his team, but there was no need to, as that Dazzling Gleam did so much damage to the Salamence that it ended up killing it. So that thing got absolutely one-shotted by our Flutter main. You couldn't have asked for a better start. Luckily, they also have another Dragon type, which is, again, weak to our Flutter main here. So this time we do decide to Terastallize. We try to go for a Shadow Ball, but forgetting that we are Choice Specs. Or Choice Scarf, I cannot remember, but we are Choice something. But we do decide to Terastallize and go for the Dazzling Gleam. Now, I wanted to have Moonblast on this thing, but I discovered that trying to get Moonblast on this thing can be quite tricky, so we ended up just sticking with the Dazzling Gleam, which isn't as good a move, but it's, as you can see, it's doing its job as we one-shot the Dragapult as well. We've outsped both. We're definitely scarfed because Dragapult would have outsped this thing. I'm pretty sure, could be wrong with that, but we are destroying this David, which is great news for us. The Intimidate does go, so we're like -2 in attack, but luckily we're not a physical attacker. Now, there is not much point in swapping out here, so we do decide to go for the Stab Terra boosted Dazzling Gleam. Will it do much damage to the Gyarados? We get a critical hit. It is quite literally the best sweep we have probably had this whole run. In the first episode, we did have an amazing sweep with the Gengar straight off the bat, but that was just very enjoyable to do. Finally, we're on some form of winning streak. We are now on 4 wins and 7 losses. We are looking much better than what we were looking like at the end of a couple of episodes ago. That is for sure. But as you can see, we get our rewards. We get our league points, 1,000 of those bad boys. And let's just see what that has done to our ranking. So we are about, I would say about 3/4, just under 3/4 of the way to progress into the next rank, which is great. Rank 5 Pokeball tier, that would be good. But as you can see, we go in with the very same team. Let's hop right into the team selection. So we have TTV Minor 02. If that does mean Twitch TV, please be sure to go over to this person's Twitch and say you were in a JKXY video. Let's get as many friends as possible, I guess. But as you can see, they've got their own Knuckle Stack, a Goldengo, a Sushi Boy, a Palafin, a Meowscarada, and a Dondonzo. Really interesting thing is that Dondonzo and Tatsugiri are a very good combination to do in doubles. That's just something, a bit of food for thought, you guys. For those of you that want to take up VGC, and the best format to do it in is doubles. That's the way that they do it at Worlds and stuff like that. So if you want to get into VGC, definitely practice with teams in doubles. It's very, very fun. But again, head over to Minor02, say JKXY sent you. Let's see if they respond. But TT, I'm just going to call him Minor, has sent out a Knuckle stack as we send out our Annihilate. There wasn't really much that we could do to this thing straight off the bat. It's very physically defensive, so going for a bulk up was probably the best idea, but it does decide to Terastallize straight off the bat. What typing is it? It is Poison type, which is very, very good. If only we didn't have a super effective move for this in Stomping Tantrum. But we did go for the bulk up. It's probably going to go for Assault Cure. I don't quite remember, but that is the best move that Knuckle Stack can use. And so it does. Assault Cure hits the Annihilate. And Assault Cure definitely is one of those moves that you can see a lot of people using, and a lot of people enjoying it. It's a move that is hard to deal with because, you know, you can't really dodge it, and it does damage each time. And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe it does more damage to either water types or steel types. I cannot remember right now, but I will do that for a bit of homework for myself, or you guys can let me know down in the comments below. But we do go for another bulk up as it goes for another Assault Cure, which isn't very effective, which I don't think is very effective on ghost types. I think that's one of the conditions of the move. We then go for the super effective Stomping Tantrum. I don't think this Garganackle knows that we have Stomping Tantrum. It probably just thinks we have a bunch of fighting type moves and it resists now because it's a poison type. But luckily, we do have the Stomping Tantrum. But unluckily, it goes for a Protect, scouting out the fact that we have Stomping Tantrum. So this thing now knows that there is a big threat in Annihilate being on the field right now towards this Garganackle. Now, it's up to you whether you think you should swap here, but I was within the mentality that he is probably going to switch out. Because why would you risk sending down your Garganackle? That is Terastallize. He doesn't and goes for a Wide Guard, and I decided to go for a Rage Fist just to see. I was trying to scout out. I was trying to scout out, see how much damage it would do to a Pokemon swapping in. Obviously, he didn't swap, which was the annoying thing, considering that we are bulked up right now. And it's definitely going to go for a Protect next turn, and the Assault Cure is going to keep whittling us down. But luckily, we have the not the Chesto Berry, the Citrus Berry. So that's a plus. We get some HP back, allowing us to go for another bulk up. It probably thinks that we're going to go for a Stomping Tantrum here because he probably thinks that we're thinking that, you know, he's not swapping out. He wants this Garganackle to stay on the field for as long as possible with Assault Cure. So that's what he does. He does go for the Protect, which fails obviously as we go for another bulk up, anticipating the Protect. Now it's fair game. We could go for another Rage Fist, or we could go for the Stomping Tantrum and just hope that it doesn't Protect. Because double Protect is a thing. Even after it fails the first time, I'm not too sure on the specifics, but you can indeed get a double Protect. I believe it halves the chances every time. I don't think you can get 3 Protects in a row. That is definitely something I will have to look as well. You know, this is a time for reflecting. This is a time for homework, but enough of that. Annihilate goes for the Stomping Tantrum, taking this thing down to the red as it goes for a Recover. Annoyingly, I've said it in previous videos, and Garganackle has come up a lot in this series. It is an extremely hard Pokemon to deal with, especially if you don't have the right resources. Now, obviously, Annihilate isn't going to be the best at using a Stomping Tantrum because it's not a ground type. We need that Stab, we need that Terra type, ground type. If this thing stayed as rock type, it wouldn't be on the field right now. If it did not Terastallize, it would not be on the field right now. It would be dead and gone, because one Drain Punch to this thing and it would at least be in the red. But I would anticipate it dying, especially after three or four bulk ups. It should be dead. It does go for the Protect, so we do not get any damage off, but we do take damage from the Assault Cure. Again, Garganackle is one of them Pokemon that just tries to whittle you down very, very slowly, and it can be very frustrating when you don't have the resources to take it down. We go for a Stomping Tantrum, taking it back down to the red, but as you can tell, if it wasn't predictable already, it does go for the Recover, taking it back just above half health. This is getting quite annoying now, and I've experienced this whole series with Garganackle, and I could tell at this point I was getting quite frustrated. I don't want my Annihilate to go down to this thing, that's for sure. but it's most likely going to happen. We know it's most likely going to protect this next turn, but we do decide to go for a Drain Punch. I think at this point we accepted that Annihilate is just not going to be able to take this thing down, and we might as well get a clean switch. We definitely don't want to switch in and it goes for Assault Cure and we're just back in the same situation, as you never know, the Pokemon that comes out next might be able to one-shot this thing without getting Assault Cured. That's how my mindset was, and that's how it's playing out, as you can see. So again, we go for a Bulk Up, pretty much just trying to get this Annihilate off the field now. It does go for the Protect, which means that we do get another free Bulk Up off. I believe we're plus 4 or 5 now with this Annihilate, so we could get a clean shot off. If we survive the Assault Cure, we can do a lot of damage here. It all depends on whether or not this Garganacl is able to protect again for 1, and 2, if we can do enough damage with the Stomping Tantrum. We do decide to go for said Stomping Tantrum. It's probably going to go for a Wide Guard. I'm not too sure. Could be wrong. But that's most likely what it's going to do because of... we know how this player plays. Protect, Wide Guard, Assault Cure. And that's just how Garganacl plays. That's just how it is. But we do go for the Stomping Tantrum and do manage to take out the Garganacl. But we still have the Assault Cure affecting us, I believe. So this could take out the Annihilate at the very end of this turn, which it does. Annihilate goes down to the Assault Cure, so we traded Mons there, which I was happy with because he terrestrialized very early on. It's a huge wall out of the way. This means that we can bring out either Flutter Mane or Roaring Moon and just completely just try and outspeed and just hit like a truck in either special or physical. So we're looking pretty good, depending on what he brings out next. If it is the Gholdengo, we could be screwed. And what do you know? It's the Gholdengo. But we do still have the Terrestrialization, and we have a Stab Shadow Ball. We do outspeed because of the Choice Scarf. Will this Shadow Ball take it out? Takes it down to the red, as the Gholdengo has the weakness policy, sorry. And it raises its special attack as it goes for a Shadow Ball itself. And yeah, there was no way the Flutter Mane was surviving that. So it is now a 2v1 with our Roaring Moon. This Gholdengo is not in the best shape, which is a good thing for us, a very good thing. We do also have the Booster Energy on the Roaring Moon, which I believe ups its attack stat. It could be speed, I'm not too sure. So the Photosynthesis activates and our attack was heightened. Now, I'm pretty sure that Roaring Moon can outspeed this Gholdengo, but let's just have a look. We do decide to go for the Terrestrialization and also the Dragon Dance, just to get a bit cheeky. Just to get a little bit cheeky. I was anticipating that possibly this thing would probably go for an Iron, its Make It Rain move, simply because that was its most powerful move, but we do outspeed anyways and go for the Dragon Dance just to see if we can get that little bit extra attack. I might have been a bit greedy here, but I wanted to ensure hopefully we can survive this Power Gem, which I was not expecting from the Gholdengo. But it does take us down to the orange, but now we outspeed and we are plus 1 or 2. I'm not too sure. But we're definitely killing this Gholdengo the next turn. So the Night Slash goes off and we kill the Gholdengo. It is now a 1v1 situation. We are completely set up right now. We have speed, we have attack. All depends on what comes out next, and it is the Meowscarada. Very, very scary because this thing, it hits like a truck and it's very fast, but we do outspeed with the Dragon Claw. Is also Terra boosted. Will it OHKO the Meowscarada? It does, with the Photosynthesis boost as well. That is the second match all to us. We won both this episode, which is incredible. We haven't done this in ages. I don't even think we've done it in an episode, actually. We've not had an episode where we've won every single battle. That's 2 battles that we've won this episode. I cannot believe it. I'm going to shut up now. I'm just really, really excited for this series. I've had a bunch of fun, like, doing competitive stuff. So if you are enjoying it, like I said before, please do leave a like and subscribe. And, you know, drop a comment saying if you enjoy the series and, you know, maybe we could battle some point. I might be doing a series with viewers, depending on how many people want to do that. But as you can see on your screen, we are now Pokeball tier rank 5. We are making our way closer to that Great Ball tier. It's going to be good. But without further ado, I will see you in the next one.
Whoa.